the president. Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy. Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis. Of a child, right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children. How's everybody doing? Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News and for the Oscar Blue platform. On all platforms, we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, and also we are live in Twitter. My hat is kind of out of line. This happened, and I will play the video a couple of times. This is what just happened. I don't know your perspective. We're going to put on screen what is the punishment for an aggravated assault against a police officer, and ultimately also for just a second-degree assault and all this kind of stuff. But this is what it is going around, and this is what just recently happened in New York. Play clip 1, please.
Fox News now, NYPD making 2 more arrests, illegal immigrants, and that attack on officers. Those suspects also allegedly stole an officer's cell phone. Well, that'll help them track you down. So a 5th illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret. He was seen, as you can see, giving his 2 middle fingers to the cameras moments after being released without bail. Florida Senator Marco Rubio wrote, "Message to America from one of the illegal immigrants who assaulted NYPD officers, walked free with no bail, and heads back to a shelter funded by taxpayers." So far, police have shared 4 mugshots of the now 7 people arrested in connection with the brutal beatings in Times Square. Just into Fox News.
The way that they categorize right now this assault is as a brutal beating. That is the way that it's being categorized. This assault of 7 migrants inside of the New York state, where migrants assaulted police officers, beating them brutally in the floor, and stealing their property from them. Of course, their cell phones. And they are waiting and questioning the investigation. They were released under no bail, no charge, again, into the population and into the shelters. These migrants are presumptively from Venezuela. Now, I am going to address this situation as I have documented migration in the epicenters where it actually happens, not when they're crossing and you're showing when they're crossing and all this kind of stuff. No, I have documented in caravans and ultimately in places where I have gone into multiple dangers, and also in the Darien Gap, which I have been in there 3 times already. The population of Venezuela, it is suffering from a dictatorship with a horrible poverty, where it is not even a migration, it is an exodus. These 7 individuals from Venezuela do not represent the Venezuelan people. And I will tell you, and a lot of people are going to say, why you're defending Venezuelans, Oscar, is not defending these 7 thugs, these 7 criminals, because that is a crime what they did. I'm defending the good Venezuelan migrant who they are coming for the better opportunity in life and for a better, prosperous opportunity to enter a country under a process and looking forward for a better opportunity in life to work. I have walked with doctors, engineers, architects, lawyers, all kinds of entrepreneurs. And a lot of these individuals, they want a better opportunity in life. And these 7, because of these 7 thugs right here, basically the entity of Venezuela gets damaged. And the repercussions right now are releasing them. I will play against the video for people to understand what am I talking about. If you guys are just joining in, hit that like button, hit that share button. Buy me a coffee. It's on the bottom link. If you guys would like to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, it is much needed. I'm trying to go somewhere, and I'm seeing if I'm going to have the possibilities of starting to travel. But this is the actual situation right now, and I will play the video again for people to understand what am I talking about. 7 illegal immigrants, some just say it like that. They are in illegal status inside of the United States of America. They are registered as asylees and refugees. People that they're looking for asylum and people that they're looking for refugee, they will not hit the authority or violently attack the authority. They will refuge themselves with the authority. I'm sorry, but for all these leftist, progressive, mercenary liberals, the good Venezuelan migrants, their reputation, it is on the line because of these individuals. I have walked with good, great Venezuelan migrants. I have a lot of friends that they are journalists, that they're Venezuelan. And they're ashamed of this kind of attitude. They're ashamed because these thugs, they don't represent them. Absolutely and not. And these criminals right here, these 7 criminals, these 7 thugs right here, they're not asylees. They're not refugees. I am sorry for all these mercenary progressive liberals. These 7 thugs, if you have, and if you're attacking the police officers of New York, you're not looking for refugee. You're not looking for refuge, or you're not looking for asylum. You are having the same attitude that you had, the thug mentality in your own native country, and you're bringing it to another country, and you're not adapting to the culture. And you're not adapting to the law and order of another culture. So you're not a asylee. You're not a refugee. You're a thug. We're a thug mentality that crossed the border to look for a better opportunity in life, which, let me tell you, sadly, the migrants of Venezuela, a lot of them have lost their lives in the Darien Gap. And all of this, in a nutshell, it is provoked by the Biden administration. Nobody else. Let me just tell you all of this. But I have walked with so many migrants inside of the Darien Gap. Look at decomposed bodies of migrants from Venezuela. I have seen children almost drown. Migrants being extortioned and kidnapped, which they are risking their lives for this opportunity. And a lot of them have not even made it. They died along the way. And it's so sad to see, to be sitting down in the middle of the Darien and looking at a decomposed body and looking at yourself and saying, God, why this is happening? Why, God, please stop this, please. And then you go to the border and you see these 7 thugs that they do not care about law and order, and all the people that they have risked their lives try to come into the United States of America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, the best country that exists in the world. All those people that they have died, they have given their life for an opportunity that these thugs have already have inside of the United States. And not only that, after they have been accepted and released into population, you take advantage of this opportunity and you register yourself under claims of asylum and refuge, and you go and assault The same people that they are practically protecting you from asylum and refuge. So you're not an asylee, you're not refugee. You're putting the shame of the good Venezuelan people into shame. This is to clarify that we should not create hatred against a population, because these 7 thugs, they do not represent all the Venezuelan people. They do not represent the good Venezuelan people, the hard-working Venezuelan people, the people that they're actually suffering from a dictatorship, that they're suffering from communism, that they're actually dying right now on the Darien. Extortion in Central and South America. These thugs, they don't represent them. This is the sad thing about it. Open border policies create this kind of situations. And the reaction, it is just flabbergasting. The reaction, it is when you don't adapt to a culture from a first-class world country. Instead of understanding the level of crime that you have committed, and when you're sitting down on that room that every police officer or every police department puts you in on a holding cell, before you are moved into another holding cell, that is the moment that you get to realize, my God, I think I made a huge mistake. My God, what have I done? And instead of realizing the big mistake that you just made, instead of realizing that you just assaulted brutally a police officer, stolen from a police officer, and you're about to be charged with assault through a police officer, instead of coming out and saying, you know what, I just committed a mistake, I should be ashamed of myself, I think I am going to apologize to every population out there and to my Venezuelan people. I will clarify this because my Venezuelan people in the country of the United States of America are going to be signalized and critically being directly to them. Instead of that, you do this.
Just into Fox News now, NYPD making 2 more arrests, illegal immigrants, and that attack on officers. Those suspects also allegedly stole an officer's cell phone. Well, that'll help them track you down. So a 5th illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret. He was seen, as you can see, giving his 2 middle fingers to the cameras moments after being released without bail. Florida Senator Marco Rubio wrote, "Message to America from one of the illegal immigrants who assaulted NYPD officers, walked free with no bail, and heads back to a shelter funded by taxpayers." So far, police have shared 4 mugshots of the now 7 people.
I don't know if this is brutally an attack, but let me just tell you, people, I have walked with great Venezuelan people. The Venezuelan people are being signalized of all of them being exactly the same. We cannot do that. Don't create that hatred, please. Don't be that person to say, all of them are the same. They're all of them the same. Don't be that person, please, because that's creating hatred. And that is actually, in my perspective, in my own perspective, it's just being a hatred person. A lot of us, we're not the same. Latinos, we are hardworking people, and we have 3 things that a lot of entities wish they had. We believe in God, we believe in family, and we believe in hardworking values. That is what we believe. But this right here, This is an aggravated assault. This is an aggravated assault. Now, let me just flip the narrative for a little bit right here. Let me flip the narrative. Let me go on 3 narratives right here. Let's 3. Hypothetical examples. Just hypothetical examples. Let's say these 7 individuals right here, they are not migrants. They were African American people. What would have happened if that would have been the situation? Let's just create another hypothetical example. Hypothetical example. They're not migrants. They're not African American. But let's just say they're white people. What would you think it would happen? What would you think it would happen? Just asking for a friend. Now, let me just tell you, the good Venezuelan people, all of them, they're having the same opinion. I have walked with so many Venezuelans and I have asked this question in the Darien Gap, in the middle of the Darien Gap, outside of the Darien Gap in migrant camps, in Central America, in South America, in south of the border of Mexico, walking in a caravan, in the middle of the caravan, in the borders with Mexico and the United States and the Mexican side. I have asked so many times this to migrants from Venezuela. What do you think about the Venezuelans that are giving a bad image to your people? And the good Venezuelan migrant, do you know what he says? Return them back to home. Send them back. They don't deserve to be on that land. That's what they say. I have multiple interviews with good Venezuelan migrants that I asked them, do you have human rights in Venezuela? They say no. What do you think about the migrants that they're going over there? They don't want to work. They want to this. They want to do that. Send them back. They're giving a bad image to us. Send them back. Somos más los buenos que los malos. We are more of a good people than the bad people. Send them back. And it is obvious that, you know, this is sad because you have a lot of Venezuelan migrants who are waiting right now for a process to do it legally through a port of entry. Thousands of them, they're waiting in the central parts of the country of Mexico. Thousands of them. Thousands of them are waiting on the northern borders between Mexico and the United States. Thousands of them. And then you have this. This is the sad thing about it. That a lot of these migrants have lost their lives, but then you have 7 thugs that they enter the country and they feel entitled to do this. And when they get out of the detention, when they get out from assaulting a police officer with no bail, they laugh, they flip the finger, and there's no consequence whatsoever for what they have done. Now, from my perspective, this is not just because they're immigrants. There has been Mexican people who have committed a crime like this. Also Americans, white Americans have come over here in Mexico and committed crimes. Over here also. This has nothing to do with color. This has nothing to do with race. This has to do with an open border and what happens when you don't have a filter and when you don't have a regulated migration, documented peaceful migration, and when you don't have a legitimate case of asylum and refuge, and then you accept thugs like this. I'm sorry, I'm not generalizing. No, I'm not. I'm saying these 7 thugs right here, because they have a vast majority of migrants that they're really legitimately great migrants. But this right here, this should have been stopped at the border. If you had a regulated, safe, and documented border, you will not have these events happening. But because you don't, you will have these kind of situations continue to happen. And sadly, the consequences are police officers suffered an aggravated assault. They get out with no bail whatsoever. And I want to put on the screen, what are the charges if you have, or if you already assaulted a police officer? And these are the penalties if you assault a police officer. Right here on the screen. This has nothing to do, oh my God, he's against immigrants. No. Stop with your victimization mentality. These are the punishments. The punishments against a police officer. And let us go right here on the bottom. What are different charges for assaulting a police officer? If you go right here, on the bottom it says right here, if you go right here, these are the different charges of assaulting a police officer. Number 1, it says second-degree assault, which means stopping officers from carrying out their legal duties by creating physical injury. The type of injury resulting in a great physical impairment or pain is a Class D felony. So it goes to the state. It goes to the federal. Second, sometimes a defendant may cause loss of a bodily part, that protracted damage, or serious health impairment. That assault on a police officer is more severe charge and is a Class C felony. Aggravated assault on a police officer, that's number 3, is a serious charge and a Class B felony. It can only be made out if the assault was committed using a dangerous or a deadly weapon. Which kind of assault do you think this is? It is a police officer. Now, in my own perspective, before I read another one, let me read the other one. Now, what are their penalties? That is the other thing that we need to understand. What are their penalties? Because these men were released with no bail. They were released with no bail. So this is according to the NYC criminal defense, and in New York City criminal defense lawyer. This is why I put it up here, because it's an NYC criminal defense lawyer. So this is according to them. What kind of punishments can you expect? So on the bottom it says, any from an assault of a police officer. Let me see if I have it on the screen. Yes, I have it right here. Any form of assault on a police officer could result in a sentence of at least 2 years. As you would expect, this increases with the severity of the charge. Point number 1, the maximum sentence for assault in the second degree is 7 years, with a minimum of 2 years in prison, as it is considered a violent felony. Well, this is applicable to U.S. citizens. Imagine if you are a foreigner. The maximum sentence for an assault on a police officer is the second point. The maximum sentence for assault on a police officer, it is 15 years, with a minimum sentence of 3.5 years in prison, regardless of any prior convictions. Number 3, For aggravated assault of a police officer, the minimum sentence, it is 5 years with a maximum of 25. This can be extended to life in prison for persistent felony offenders. Now, they were released with no bail. They were released to the population again, to the shelters again. On the bottom, it says, what can impact the length of a sentence? And this is really important for me to read to you. It says, while assaulting a police officer in any form will lead to a prison sentence of at least 2 years, there are a variety of factors that can impact the length of the sentence. For instance, with regard to assault in the second degree, no prior convictions may result in you receiving the minimum sentence of 2 years. Prior nonviolent convictions could result in at least 3 years. And a history violent crime could lead to sentences of at least 5 years. If you're a persistent felony offender, assaulting a police officer could even land you to life in sentence. Now, let me just remove this. They were released with no bail. And I'm not saying this. Why? These are not refugees. A person that is looking, and this is not for the progressive mercenary liberal. This is not white supremacy, white imperialism, creating hysteria, fear-mongering, conspiracy theory, xenophobic, transphobic, homophobic, pronoun-phobic, fat-phobic, racist, fascist, narcissist, bigot, and Zionist. This has nothing to do with that. This is an aggravated assault. They were released with no bail. I just read to you what were the charges, or what were to be the charges if you were assault. If you were caught assaulting a police officer in an aggravated manner. I'm not lying. This is what it is.
Fox News now, NYPD making 2 more arrests, illegal immigrants, and that attack on officers. Those suspects also allegedly stole an officer's cell phone. Well, that'll help them track you down. So a 5th illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret. He was seen, as you can see, giving his 2 middle fingers to the cameras moments after being released without bail. Florida Senator Marco Rubio wrote, "Message to America from one of the illegal immigrants who assaulted NYPD officers, walked free with no bail, and heads back to a shelter funded by taxpayers." So far, police have shared 4 mugshots of the now 7 people arrested in connection with the brutal beatings in Times Square.
Now, let me just tell you, this is my point of view now, before I close this segment. As I have said before, I have walked with thousands of migrants from Venezuela. Thousands of them. Really good migrants. I have walked with so many good migrants. So many good people. Venezuelan people are great people. They're good people. They are suffering from communism and dictatorship. But in those good people, you get infiltrated thugs like these ones. And they ruin the great reputation of those great people. The punishment should be easy. It is not hard for us to not understand. It is not hard for us to not to defer or to try to explain. This shouldn't be hard. You just assaulted a police officer. You just crossed the border. let me tell you, you cross the border on an opportunity of a lifetime, an opportunity that not a lot of them make it. A lot of them die in the jungle, and a lot of them die on the way up. Sadly, this is the crisis that the Biden administration has created with the globalists in the UN. But you just made it to the United States. And when you entered the United States, you registered yourself, and I'm referring only to these 7 thugs. You just referred to the United States government as a refugee and as an asylee. So if you are a refugee and if you're a asylee, you are running away from fear. You are running away from persecution. You have a legitimate case of asylum and refugee. You are a person that is suffering from persecution, and possibly you could die if you go back to your country, right? So you are refugeeing yourself and you are protecting yourself with the American authority. So the American authority and the police officers should be your friend. They should be the ones that they're protecting you. They should be the ones that they are, man, I am on their side because I'm running away from fear, so I will be here. I am protecting. I'm for the law-abiding citizen. I am for the law and order. I am in the side of the law of the New York City Police Department. This is when you have created a border where you do not have control, and because you cannot prove that you have credible fear, you will be actually registered without having a credible case, and you will be released into the population, understanding and making believe that you are a refugee or asylee. I don't care from what entity you are. This is an unfiltered migration. Before I go, I'm a pro-migrant myself. I believe that migration is a human right, but with those human rights, there's a process and there's a law. So where you are doing this and you're registering yourself as a refugee in asylum, you enter, but how can a refugee and an asylee hit the police officer, which they are the law of the authority that they are intending to protect you from not getting hurt? How is that possible? If that is the case, then you're not a refugee and you're not an asylee. You're an individual who just committed an aggravated crime in the country that gave you an opportunity to be safe, and that now you have created an aggravated felony. Guess what? When you create an aggravated felony happens? Sadly, first and foremost, you need to understand what you have done. And when you realize that, you need to repent immediately. And these thugs, they did not do that. They got out of the room, the holding cell, and they flipped the finger and they laughed. Why? Because possibly they were accustomed to doing that in their country. The punishment should be easy. Easy, and it is easy said and easy done. Easy said, and it is easily going to be done. The punishment, it is this. You committed an aggravated felony. You committed an aggravated crime. You should be processed, detained, without release of no bail whatsoever. You just attacked a police officer. What the hell is wrong with you? Then after that, you should be held in a holding cell until you are approved by a lawyer. This lawyer is going to be approved by the state, which he will see your case and he will tell you there's so much evidence of you being guilty. When you are guilty, you will be charged. You will serve your time in the state or the federal prison, knowing if it was a felony or an aggravated felony, you should go to the federal prison and serve your time there. After you serve your time, you will be returned back to your country. And then see if one day you will repent and the United States will have the possibility of letting you in again and pay for your crimes. Simple as that. Real simple. Really simple. You shouldn't be released into population. You just assaulted police officers in the United States of America. You have to be kidding me with the United States right now. You have to be kidding me with the United States right now, man. You have to be kidding me. I cannot believe the New York Police Department, right? The New York law. I cannot believe the authority of the United States. I cannot believe the court of the United States. I cannot believe it, really. This is the way it is. And of course, a lot of people are bringing and generalizing, generalizing this situation with an invasion. A lot of people think about it that way. I don't think about it that way. And I think that, we should respect each other. If you believe it in that way, I respect you. I don't think that this is, according to a comment right here, it's stupid to think it's not the word invasion. So basically, you're telling me that I'm stupid. Basically, that's what you're telling me. I don't believe in that word. 7 thugs have nothing to do with all of the other situation which is happening. It's part of it, yes. But 7 thugs has nothing to do with that. Let's respect each other. Because this has been caused. And everything that is occurring, the fentanyl situation in your drugs, in your country, it is part of your insecure border. It is part of your government. Your government, it is doing this. Nobody else. Your government, it is doing it. Nobody else. Your leftist, progressive, mercenary government, it is doing it. Nobody else. The UN has control over your borders. Nobody else. But if you have an unfiltered migration, and if you have an irregulated migration, and if you have a migration which you do not have a filter, this will happen. Of course. What do you think? The liberals, the progressive liberals, they want no borders, no walls, no USA at all. Because of the white imperialism, they took over the land. And who are you? Who is the migrant? We were here before, and we were the indigenous before. We were here, the whites, and the whites took over the native land. And you know, this is this, and this is that, and la la this, and la la that, and that's the progressives for you. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue. This right now, I'm going on my platform. Di que el migrante era mexicano y lo mataron. ¿Por qué quieres que diga eso? There's somebody commented in Spanish. Let me ask. Piscis, me dices, di que el migrante era mexicano y estoy leyendo tu comentario. ¿Por qué quieres que diga eso? Que eso no tiene nada que ver. God bless every single one of you. This is what the actual situation. It's sad, man. It's sad that this is occurring because I am possibly going to ask a Venezuelan migrant that lives in the United States legally right now. On a, you know, and I have so many on a process right now. So many migrants that they're in a process. You know that ambos partidos son responsables de la situación de mantener la guerra contra las drogas. There's a comment right here in Spanish. Let me read it. A ver, la mentalidad bipartisana gringa es insuficiente para mantener el problema. De hecho, son ambos partidos los responsables de la situación de mantener la guerra contra las drogas. Y también los otros gobiernos, ¿no? Claro, estoy de acuerdo contigo en ciertas cosas. This is what I strongly believe, and I will emphasize on this, and I am going to emphasize again and again and again. You know, I stand with my Latino people. I stand with the Latino population, but this is the situation which we are not educating the migrants on what is the consequence of you being in the United States. What are their laws? What is the culture? What is the actual situation of the country? What is the actual economical situation of the country, the United States? This is where you migrate under a cloud that is created by the organized crime and by the UN and by all these cartels, that they make you believe that the American dream is a reality and it is so easy to just get into the United States and make millions, right? That's what they have created in the idea of Central and South America and a lot of people. And it is not like that. So when you have an uneducated migration, and when you have, you know, a migration that is so irregular and so, you know, all over the place, you will have these kind of situations. This is why when I go to places in migrant camps in Central and South America, I try to sit down with a large quantity of migrants and try to tell them, this is the way you have to go in. You don't go to the river. Do not enter through these places, man. That's doing it the wrong way. This is the right way. This is the way you have to do it. Please, you know, care about your life. Save your life. And by the way of you saving your life, you're saving other people's lives. You don't even imagine how much you can do by your own case, recording yourself and telling, I did it. I did it through the port of entry. I'm going right now. I just did it. Guys, you can actually do it. Doing it this way, you know, have a legitimate case. If you, this is the way. But no, you see all the migrants and the progressive liberals and the NGOs letting people record themselves as they are entering through a non-port of entry and through a place where there's no wall. All of them recording, we just made it, people. we're right here. That's the wall. They brought us over here. Of course, we paid a coyote, but we made it over here. We made it with the glory of God. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Let's educate them. Let's this is the problem. And this creates a crisis. This creates a lot of people losing their lives. And actually, you're putting more people's lives at danger than helping. This is why these two Democrat congressmen from Texas, they were fighting against Abbott. I don't like Abbott. First and foremost, just for people to understand, I'm a Mexican citizen and I don't like Abbott. But they were fighting against Abbott and the razor wire and all this kind of stuff. But what I'm going where is that these two Democratic congressmen, they were advocating to remove the wire and for people to still come in and through the river. You have to be kidding me. Just 3 weeks ago, we saw a really graphic video where 3 migrants drowned at a swamp and they died with his child on the other side screaming, "Dad," and the wife on the other side of the swamp that she already made it, seeing how her husband is drowning and dying. But you have these Democratic congressmen still pushing for that narrative for people to come through non-ports of entry and risk their lives and put their lives in danger. Then you got the NGO. We have the Pampers right here for your child on the other side where there's no wall, right? We have right here, we have the baby wipes, and also we have a little bit of water for you. Great job. No. Great job on risking your life and putting your life in the hands of coyotes and traffickers. Great job. Oh my God, you don't even know what they're going through. You're such a white supremacist. You're such a white privilege Mexican. All has to do with white this, white that, white privilege, white color, white this. This is the problem. And when you have these irregularities at the border, you will have thugs come in and do these kind of crimes. Sadly, this is the way that I perceive this is the way that I perceive the situation. Somebody saying these are migrants, they are military coming harm to USA. No. Stop. I already reported that. That's not the new. Come on. That's not the new. We already know that there's former military people coming. And a lot of them, they're running away from the government of their own military, from Venezuela, from Colombia, even from Afghanistan. Ben Bergquam and I did an interview inside of the Darien Gap where we had 3 Afghanis, where one of them was running away and he used to work for the United Nations. Another one, he was running away because of the Afghan government and the Taliban. With these kind of situations, you need to have a filter. That's why you need a filter. And they have asked Secretary Mayorkas, they have asked him how many times you have done investigations of filters into these migrants. How many audiences have you have? He cannot answer because he's not doing them. That's the problem. He cannot answer because he's not doing them. He's just applying, the catch and release situation. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it doesn't exist." It's clearly it's not even catch and release. It's just it's not even there. There's not even a catch anymore. It is just release. There's no process. And it has created some kind of a, it's so much money, so much power, so much corruption. So much money, so much power, so much corruption. I will put out a video of me explaining why a Border Patrol agent was recently found guilty for accepting bribes from the organized crime in the cartel. This was, let me just go right here and find it. And before I go, hold on. There we go, right here. Okay, it's not here. I will go right here, and I will post this this information later on this afternoon. I'm gonna post this information later on this afternoon for people to see it. Let me see right here. Let me see if I can get into the link. It is not letting me get into the link. Okay, but I will just give out the information. It says a former Border Patrol from the United States has declared guilty from accepting bribes and also to be participating in intents of irregular crossings of people, ultimately also involving drugs. When you have open border policies, when you have an open border, it will create a market. That is what it is. When you have an open border and when you have an open border policies, it will create a biggest market. And the biggest market right now, it is people trying to enter the United States in an irregular fashion. Migrants. It is a big, big, gigantic market. And I have said multiple times before, I will do a recorded report on this later on. Border Patrol officials are being bribed, or they are being consistently threatened to see if you don't accept it. This is what will happen to you. Not too long ago, you heard that the cartel was threatening and they were trying to pay for information of Border Patrol agents and their addresses in the United States of America. You will create this with open borders. And you will have the door open for good people to come in. But and also on those large groups of good people, you will have these kind of thugs that they just registered as refugees, and they're not. And they just assaulted a police officer. You have to be kidding me, man. What is the name for these kind of individuals? What is it going to be the name for these kind of individuals that you will enter the country and you just been arrested for assaulting a police officer, and you get out of the court with no bail, released, and you're flipping the finger, you're laughing at the cameras, you're still flipping the finger, you're flipping the finger to everybody. I don't care. You flip the finger, you laugh, just hit a police officer, I don't care, flip the finger again. I'm right here. I'm ha ha ha. Yeah, I'm gonna be released, no charge. I don't care. Flip the finger. No bail. Going back to where it was. I can do it again if I want. No consequence whatsoever. Right here, you see it. Bam. There you go. And if I do these kind of reports, oh, he's against migrants, oh, he's a traitor to his own people. What should we say about this kind of stuff? Where is the voice of those that they are against this kind of situation and they're giving a bad perception to us, the Latinos, that they're giving a bad image to us, the Latinos, that they're giving a bad image to the migrants, that they're trying to do things right, that they're staying inside of their country, they're staying in, right now in the country. Where? There's no opinion on people that they just want to basically, wait for a process and do things legally and want to, that they have been waiting for months. There's no voice for them, or the people that they have, you know, suffer the consequences so much of a longest of time waiting for a residence or waiting for a paperwork to be legally registered in the United States. There's no voice for them. No, they cannot speak, because if they speak, the mercenary white progressive liberal will go against them and say, you're a white supremacist, you're a white imperialist, you are a conspiracy theorist, you're a fearmonger, you're creating hysteria, you're against your people, you're a traitor, you're xenophobic, you're a traitor. Look, he's a Mexican, he's against you, he's a traitor, he's a traitor. Look, and everybody, all the migrants looking at this white man. Oh, he's white. Oh, okay. And he's saying, who's a traitor? Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are a traitor. Why are you speaking about the crimes that we're committing? No. Right? They used us for their political trash. Just saying. That's their excuse. We don't have a voice for the white progressive mercenary liberal. And if not, they use a term, Hispanic or a pocho, to criticize us, the Mexicans, or the real Latinos that we live over here, to criticize us. Look at this clown. Look at this. I look at them down because I was born over here. So I'm a Latino, but I was born in the United States. I have more power and more academia. I'm more knowledgeable than you. Who are you to speak about my country and laws? But at the meantime, these kind of situations happen. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. Sadly, this is the actual situation, which it is currently happening in the United States. I will be releasing a report later on the former Border Patrol agent who was recently declared guilty for accepting bribes and also to be participating in smuggling and trafficking of illicit drugs into the United States of America. God bless you all. We have 2 minutes, one more question, one more comment. I will read this in Spanish. O los más de 650 millones de latinos americanos que viven afuera de las fronteras de Estados Unidos, triplicamos su población y vivimos en 33 naciones. Sí, eso tienes razón. Let me see. Gringos always have had a bad image of America Latina. We are called Hispanics, third world, their backyard, and Gringos destiny manifest. So no voice for xenophobia. You're saying no voice for xenophobia for who? It's not Gringos, it's the system. But I want to clarify that. No xenophobia. So we're always going to live like a victim. And we're always going to live, blaming the white supremacy. Or we're going to live until we recover California and Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, and we're going to fight till the end. That's what we're going to do. I'm just asking a question. Thank you so much. For joining in. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, that could be. Yes, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I'm not going to read it again. You're right about that. Let me just read. So thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. That, and it actually can be. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Be sure to be, following our pages, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Oscar El Blue Ramirez. Also, you can follow in right there. Somebody saying, take me out or time me out before you leave. Okay. God bless you, man. I'm not the one that is holding the remote over here. I don't know. We have, hammers and we have moderators in the live feed. So, thank you. I'll be good. The truth is precious. Yes, I believe the truth is precious. I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you all the way. All the way. Thank you, and thank you. I'm about to do a couple of recorded videos for an hour and 1 minute. It has been nice talking to you guys. And it's sad to just see this kind of news, man. It's just sad to see. Thanks, Oscar Blue Ramirez. Great as usual. Any of you covering the Texas convoy? I don't know. I'm not going to do that. I'm not interested on that. So there's other people that they could help you out with that, but I'm not interested. Really, I'm not. I don't know. Everybody has their own way to think about it. That convoy, I don't think that it will make an impact, but a lot of people are saying yes. God bless you. Wish you the best. Whatever you're trying to do, bring God and peace. That's the only thing that I will always spread. Stay safe, and be sure to be following all of our pages. It's nice talking to you guys again. And like we always say, people, God's plan, it is our mission. Stay safe.
We're here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of
Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
of a child right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children.